What did you learn, if anything? Were you satisfied at all?
Well, Blake, thanks for having me on. I can't talk about what we went over in the classified briefing, but I will say this. Obviously, over the last several weeks, we've had numerous sightings and growing public concern in New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Ohio, many different states. And what's astonishing is the Biden administration has been wholly unprepared to provide an explanation. And I think this goes to a pattern of failure with the Biden administration. Let's remember, Blake, go back to the spy balloon that flew over the United States. And what was the argument at that time? That we should be concerned. The Biden administration said, no, we don't need to be concerned about that. This is nothing. That, in fact, was not true. We've learned that later. Other intelligence failures, for instance, what happened on October 7th to Israel wasn't on our radar screen. The fall of Assad last weekend, nobody knew anything until it happened.
I hear you, I hear you, Congressman, and there's lots of questions about a host of different global issues, but I kind of want to hone in on, sir, what you may or may not have learned, and I get that a lot of this is classified, all of it is classified. But we heard from the Pentagon today, so let me direct you there. They said, for example, Pat Ryder over at the Pentagon, they are not DOD assets, Department of Defense assets, these drones. Do you believe that?
Well, here's what I know. This is an important piece of information. 5 days ago in California, the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office indicted a Chinese citizen who was trying to leave the country, who was using a drone at Vandenberg Air Force Base and on SpaceX. That's facts, right? So there was a warrant issued. There was an investigation of a Chinese citizen with a drone flying over an Air Force base, period. So, again, I'm not going to get into a classified briefing, but when you hear stuff like that and you have that information in the public realm, and again, you have a Biden administration that has projected no sense that they have this situation under control. Where is the president? Where is Secretary Blinken? Where is Chris Wray? Where are these people out there assuring the American people?
Did this need to be classified, Congressman?
Well, we have laws and rules in place for classification, and we're going to abide by those. Let me just mention one other thing. I also think there is legislation that we ought to look at in Congress. The fact that vehicles that we have on land are heavily regulated. When you buy a car or a vehicle, you have to register it. If you take a left turn illegally, you're going to be charged. There is really no laws when it comes to these unmanned vehicles in the sky, unmanned aerial drones in the sky. Okay. That needs to change.
So let's pick up from that, because the Pentagon said today, this really caught my attention. The Pentagon said the following today about drones and military installations. And again, I understand you can't get into the classified information, but I want you to hear this and a question on the other side.
Is it possible that some of those are surveilling? Absolutely. But can you make that assumption in every case? Not necessarily.
So how do we deal with this? Because the answer out of the Pentagon today, Congressman, was, yeah, there might be some really bad things potentially happening over our military sites, and okay. How do we deal with this?
Well, I think we as a committee have to collectively deal with this, and we're looking at a number of different options there on how that is done. I think the new Trump administration, I know new incoming National Security Advisor Mike Waltz is looking at this, John Radcliffe, our new CIA director. There has to be a better way to deal with this. I think all options need to be on the table, and I think you'll see a much different approach when it comes to the Trump administration and a stronger, more robust explanation and being better prepared. This, frankly, should not be happening. I think we collectively understand that, and I think there'll be a different approach.
I had your colleague, Congressman Chris Smith, on the show yesterday. Here's what he told me, and I want to ask you about it real quick, if you don't mind.
They've seen it in a way that suggests formations that are coming off the ocean into the land. And even with the Coast Guard, I spoke to one of the commanders who said one of our 47-foot rescue boats, right on its stern, were between 12 and 30 drones following close proximity to that.
Talks there about a dozen drones that were following a Coast Guard boat. Was that incident addressed at all, Congressman, or anything else like it? Did intelligence officials sort of take you case by case in any of this?
Listen, I'm not going to get into specifics. I can't do that. We had a thorough briefing today. I stand by my statement earlier that I think this has been a pattern of failure by the Biden administration. It's been a PR nightmare. They should have handled this much differently, and I think there was a way to do that. But again, this goes to the pattern the Biden administration has engaged in not being fully prepared to provide explanations to the American people.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.